In 2015, researchers at Azabu University in Japan measured oxytocin levels in the bodies of dogs and their owners. Before and after, they simply looked into each other's eyes. There were no commands, no rewards, no training. It was just a gaze. Oxytocin increased on both sides. In humans, that increase is equivalent to the moment a mother looks into the eyes of her newborn baby for the very first time. But here is what those numbers do not tell you. In the animal kingdom, staring directly into the eyes is the language of challenge and threat. Your dog's instincts know this. Millions of years of evolution have carved that into their nervous system. And yet, they still look directly into your eyes. The question is not why they look at you. The real question is what their brain is doing in that moment, and why that only fully happens with you and no one else. We will save the final answer for the end of the video, because that is what explains why your dog's gaze is meant for you, unlike any look they give to anyone else. And once you understand that, you will never look at that moment the same way again. You already know your dog looks at you, and you have felt something in that gaze, something that is not easy to name. But a feeling is not the answer. It is just a signal showing that something much more important is happening underneath. What is actually happening in their brain, and in your brain, in the space between those two gazes, is a biological mechanism that science is only just beginning to fully document. And it is unlike anything ever observed between two different species before. To understand why your dog's gaze means so much, we need to start with what it had to break in order to exist. In the wild, staring right into the eyes is the language of a threat. Wolves stare at each other to establish a hierarchy. Most animals will look away or attack when stared at in the eyes for too long. This is not a learned behavior. This is an instinct programmed over millions of years. Dogs evolved from wolves. But a 2002 study by Hare and colleagues at Duke University showed that during domestication, dogs developed a completely new set of social cognitive skills, specific to humans, that wolves do not have. Even wolves raised by humans from a young age do not possess these skills. A positive mutual gaze with humans is one of those skills. Your dog broke a million-year-old evolutionary rule to look into your eyes. It is not because they do not know the rule. It is because their relationship with humans rewrote a piece of software that their ancestors did not have. But breaking that rule is not the end point. It is the starting point of a biological loop that no one could have predicted. When your dog looks into your eyes and you look back, the first thing that happens is not an emotion. It is chemistry. Nagasawa and colleagues at Azabu University in 2015 did not just measure oxytocin once. They measured it before, measured it after, and tracked the entire process. The results, published in the journal Science, showed that oxytocin increased in both dogs and humans after a mutual gaze. But what is more important is not the number, it is the mechanism. This is a loop. Your oxytocin increasing makes you look at your dog longer. Their oxytocin increases in response, making them look at you longer. Then your oxytocin increases again. This loop is self-sustaining, where each gaze feeds the next one. And this loop only exists between dogs and humans. It does not exist between wolves and humans, even if the wolves were raised from puppyhood. It does not exist between dogs and other species. The moment your dog looks into your eyes and you look back is not just a simple emotional moment. It is a chemical reaction happening in both bodies at the exact same time, feeding off of each other. Two different species, sharing a bonding loop that evolution never planned for. But this loop does not just appear naturally. It is built, and that building process has a specific window of time. Not every dog can maintain a natural mutual gaze with humans. You might have noticed this before, as there are dogs that look directly into their owner's eyes comfortably and for a long time. There are also dogs that look away and avoid direct eye contact, even though their owner is not threatening them at all, and even though their voice and gestures are completely friendly. The ability to maintain a positive mutual gaze with humans is not a pure instinct. It is learned through early socialization. Dogs exposed to human eye contact in a positive way during the sensitive period from 3 to 12 weeks of age will develop this ability stronger and more naturally. Dogs that have negative experiences with direct eye contact during that period, such as being stared at as a form of threat or being punished when maintaining eye contact, will avoid mutual gazes even with people who love them completely. If your dog looks directly into your eyes naturally, that is not just their personality, it is proof of what they have learned is safe. And if your dog avoids your gaze, that is not indifference. That is a memory. If this is changing how you view the moment your dog looks into your eyes, that is exactly what this channel aims to do. Please subscribe, as we do this every single week. When your dog looks into your eyes, they are not just triggering a chemical loop, they are gathering information. You might have noticed this without giving it a name. When you talk to your dog, they do not just hear your voice, they look at your face, and their gaze tends to lean toward a specific side of your face. A 2008 study by Gaxi and colleagues in Hungary discovered that dogs have a left gaze bias when looking at human faces, meaning their eyes naturally point toward the left side of the human's face, which corresponds to the right side of the human's face when viewed from the dog's perspective. What is special is that this left gaze bias only appears when looking at human faces, and it does not appear when looking at other dogs' faces, when looking at objects, or with any other stimuli. The right side of a human face expresses emotions more clearly, and the dog's brain has learned that. They do not look randomly. They look where the most information is. When your dog looks into your eyes, they are not just looking, they are scanning. They are reading every tiny change on your face with a level of attention that most people around you do not have. They are trying to understand you, moment by moment. But what do they use all that information for? There is a skill that your dog has, which most animals on Earth do not have. You look toward an object, and your dog follows the direction of your eyes, not the direction of your hands. You look into their eyes and then glance toward the door, and they stand up before you can even say a word. You look at their food bowl and then look back at them, and they understand that is the signal for mealtime. This is gaze following, the ability to track a person's line of sight to deduce their intentions. Hare and colleagues at Duke University proved that dogs perform gaze following with humans better than chimpanzees do, even though chimpanzees are the closest species to humans genetically. Wolves raised by humans from a young age do not have this skill at the same level. This is not a skill learned through training. This is a skill honed by natural selection over thousands of years of domestication. Because dogs that could read human eyes more accurately understood their owners better, and therefore had a higher survival advantage. Your dog is not guessing what you want. They are reading your eyes, and from there deducing your intentions. That is social cognition, not blind instinct, and not simple conditioning. And evolution built that into them for one single reason, so they could understand you. Now for the final question, and this is the part that most dog owners never stop to think about. Your dog looks directly into your eyes in a natural, prolonged, and information-seeking way. But with a stranger, even if that person is completely friendly, even if their voice is gentle, and even if there is nothing to worry about, their gaze is different. It is shorter, more evasive, less engaging. Why? In the 2015 Nagasawa study, the oxytocin loop was not activated equally in every dog and human pair. It was strongest in pairs with a high level of attachment and a long history of living together. Oxytocin is not just the product of a gaze, it is the product of history. The gaze is just the trigger. History is the fuel. Your dog's brain has recorded you. Not just your face, not just your voice, but your entire chemistry, your breathing pattern, the way you move, and how your body changes day by day. And when they look into your eyes, their brain accesses all of that history at once. When your dog looks into your eyes in a way that they do not look at anyone else, that is not a habit. It is a deliberate distinction made by a brain that has decided you are the one for whom that bonding loop is activated. You are not just their owner. You are the only person with whom their gaze shares chemistry. And that is not because you feed them. It is not because you train them. It is because there is a history, built day by day, moment by moment, that their brain has recorded and retained. Every time they look into your eyes, they are accessing that history. Your dog is not staring at you. They broke a million-year-old evolutionary rule to look directly into your eyes. They are triggering a chemical loop that evolution never planned for. They are reading your face to understand what you are feeling. They are reading your eyes to understand what you want. And they only do all of that fully with you, because only you have that history with them. Most dog owners love their dogs completely, but loving and understanding are not the same thing. That gap is exactly what this channel exists to bridge. Let me know in the comments section. In what moments does your dog look into your eyes the most? I read absolutely every single comment. And the next time your dog looks into your eyes, if you see it differently, please subscribe. This is what this channel does every single week.